We're on.
Just, for the time.
Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills Annual Organization Meeting of the Township Council, January 6, 2015. Please rise for the flag salute.
Russo, if you would.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mr. Karifi.
Here.
Mr. DePiero.
here.
Mr. Paluso.
Present.
Mr. Stanton.
Here.
Mr. Valori.
Here.
Others present, Mayor James R. Barbario, L&M Sandman, Business Administrator, Paula Cazzarelli, Assistant Business Administrator, John Inglesino, Esquire, Township Attorney, Yancey Wazermas, Township Clerk, and Ann M. Cucci, CFO.
You recognize like dignitaries?
Our auditor is here.
We have Mr. Kamen here tonight at our meeting.
Former Assemblyman.
Former Assemblyman. Thank you.
Republican Chair.
Yes,
Welcome.
thank you.
Council President, your auditor is also here, Ray Serenelli.
Oh, good evening, Ray.
Good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good to see you behind Mr. Stanton's sign there.
Statement of compliance. Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided in accordance with the requirements of the Open Public Meetings Law by filing the notice in the office of the Township Clerk and by posting the meeting notice on the bulletin board of the municipal building on December 17, 2014, where it has remained posted since that date. A legal notice appeared in the Daily Record on December 19, 2014, and was forwarded by fax to the local newspapers and local radio station on December 17, 2014. Note, council meetings are videotaped and aired on Cablevision Public Access Channel 21 at 11 o'clock a.m. on Sundays and are also available for viewing at www.parsippany.net.
Okay, upcoming meetings. Tonight, immediately following our organization meetings, our agenda meeting, public invited, public participation, and January 13th, 2015 at 7:30 p.m. regular meeting, public invited, public participation. Okay, getting to appointments, committees, and boards. For Council Liaison, Board of Education, Mr. Stanton.
Yes, thank you.
Craftsman Farms Foundation, Mr. DePiero.
Thank you.
Economic Development Advisory Committee, Mr. Paluso.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, I'll be taking the Emergency Services Council. Oh, yes, okay. Getting back to, we have a one unexpired term for the Economic Development Advisory Committee.
I'd like to nominate Raviram Metapati. That was sent to all the councilmen, his resume and his citizen leadership form. Motion to nominate.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Paluso, seconded by Mr. Valori. Roll call.
Mr. DePiero.
Yes.
Mr. Paluso.
Yes.
Mr. Stanton.
Yes.
Mr. Valori.
Yes.
Mr. Karifi.
Yes. Okay, moving on to the Emergency Services Council. I'll be taking that. Environmental Advisory Committee, Mr. Paluso.
Yes, I accept, and I have two members that I'd like to reappoint, Mohammed Ansari and Charles Thomas, for 3-year terms.
Okay, we'll do one at a time. The first is Mr. Ansari.
I'll second.
Okay, seconded by Mr. Stanton. Roll call.
Mr. DePiero.
Yes.
Mr. Paluso.
Yes.
Mr. Stanton.
Yes.
Mr. Valori.
Yes.
Mr. Karifi.
Yes. And the second one, Mr. Paluso.
Second one is Charles Thomas. I'd like to nominate him for a 3-year term.
Second.
Okay. Motion made by Mr. Paluso, seconded by Mr. Stanton. Roll call.
Mr. DePiero.
Yes.
Mr. Paluso.
Yes.
Mr. Stanton.
Yes.
Mr. Valori.
Yes.
Mr. Karifi.
Yes. Okay, Fire Prevention Bureau, I'll be taking that. Historic Preservation Advisory Committee, Mr. Paluso.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Library Board of Trustees, Mr. Valori.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, Morris County League of Municipalities, Mr. Valori.
Yes, thank you.
Municipal Government Transparency Committee, Mr. Valori.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
And I'd like to
Thank you.
renominate the 5 members that are already on the committee. Do you want me
We have to do them
one
individually.
individual at a time? Okay. The first person that I'd like to nominate would be Pat Patasha.
Okay, I'll second that. Motion made by Mr. Valori, seconded by myself. Roll call.
Mr. DePiero.
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Mr. Stanton?
Yes.
Mr. Valori?
Yes.
Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
The second individual that's already been on the committee I'd like to renominate would be David Kaplan.
Second.
Okay, seconded by Mr. Stanton. Roll call?
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Mr. Stanton?
Yes.
Mr. Valori?
Yes.
Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Third individual on the committee I'd like to renominate would be Adriana Alfonso.
I'll second.
Okay, seconded by Mr. Stanton. Roll call?
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Mr. Stanton?
Yes.
Mr. Valori?
Yes.
Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Fourth member I'd like to renominate on the committee would be Nancy Snyder.
Second.
Okay, seconded by Mr. Paluso. Roll call?
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Mr. Stanton?
Yes.
Mr. Valori?
Yes.
Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
The fifth member on the committee I'd like to renominate would be Tom Wenka.
I'll second.
Okay, seconded by Mr. Stanton. Roll call?
Sorry. Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Mr. Stanton?
Yes.
Mr. Valori?
Yes.
Mr. Karifi?
Yes. Okay, Parsippany Area Chamber of Commerce Representative, Mr. Paluso.
Yes, thank you.
Parsippany Child Daycare Center, Mr. Stanton.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Planning Board, Mr. Valori.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, Police Athletic League, Mr. Stanton.
Thanks.
Okay. Recreation Advisory Committee, I'll be taking that. And as of right now, we have one position open. In discussing it with the other members of the committee, we'd like to leave that open as of right now, depending on what happens with a youth athletic program.
Okay.
So, Traffic Advisory Committee, I'll be taking that, and I would like to nominate for reappointment Diana Cantrella,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Paluso. Roll call?
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Mr. Stanton?
Yes.
Mr. Valori?
Yes.
Mr. Karifi?
Yes. And I would also like to nominate for reappointment Karen Blunt,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Stanton. Roll call?
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Mr. Stanton?
Yes.
Mr. Valori?
Yes.
Mr. Karifi?
Yes. Okay, for the Zoning Board of Adjustments, I would like to nominate Robert Iracane for a member for a 4-year term.
Second.
Okay, seconded by Mr. Valori. Roll call?
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Mr. Stanton?
Yes.
Mr. Valori?
Yes.
Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
I'd like to nominate for the 4-year term on the Zoning Board of Adjustment, Surdeth Be Ready.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Paluso. Roll call?
Before you have the roll call, have you notified any of these people that you're not going to reappoint them? I take that as a no.
We did receive resumes and letters of interest from a number of people. I would take it that we would have the clerk advise these people after tonight's meeting if they were reappointed or not.
Okay.
Roll call?
Mr. DePiero?
No.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Mr. Stanton?
No.
Mr. Valori?
Yes.
Mr. Karifi?
Yes. Okay, I'd like to nominate Dave Kaplan for alternate, 2-year term,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Valori. Roll call?
Mr. DePiero?
No.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Mr. Stanton?
No.
Mr. Valori?
Yes.
Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
I'd like to nominate Scott Joskowitz as an alternate number 2 for a 2-year term for a Zoning Board of Adjustment.
Second that.
Seconded by Mr. Valori. Roll call?
Mr. DePiero?
No.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Mr. Stanton?
No.
Mr. Valori?
Yes.
Mr. Karifi?
Yes. Okay, resolutions, 2015-001. Mr. DePiero?
Resolution 2015-001, temporary budget. Motion to approve the above resolution.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. DePiero, seconded by Mr. Valori. Roll call.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Mr. Stanton?
Yes.
Mr. Valori?
Yes.
Mr. Karifi?
Yes. 2015-002, Mr. Stanton?
Or 2015-002, cash management plan.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Stanton, seconded by Mr. Valori. Roll call.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Abstain.
Mr. Stanton?
Yes.
Mr. Valori?
Yes.
Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Or 2015-003, designation of official newspaper.
Second.
Oh, yeah, this one.
Motion made by Mr. Stanton, seconded by Mr. Valori.
This
Roll
is-
call.
this one of the-
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Mr. Stanton?
Yes.
Mr. Valori?
Yes.
Mr. Karifi?
Yes. Go ahead.
Okay, R 2015-004, designation of newspapers to receive notices.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Valori, seconded by Mr. Stanton. Roll call.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Mr. Stanton?
Yes.
Mr. Valori?
Yes.
Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
R 2015-005, authorizing the township assessor to take certain actions to prosecute and defend tax appeals.
Second motion.
Motion made by Mr. DePiero, seconded by Mr. Valori. Roll call.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Mr. Stanton?
Yes.
Mr. Valori?
Yes.
Mr. Karifi?
Yes. Mr. Paluso?
Resolution 2015-006, granting fee exemptions in connection with permits for construction, zoning, engineering, fire prevention, health, parks and forestry, and recreation departments. Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Paluso, seconded by Mr. Stanton. Roll call.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Mr. Stanton?
Yes.
Mr. Valori?
Yes.
Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Or 2015-007, authorizing payment of full salary to township employees who have been called to active duty.
Second motion.
Motion made by Mr. Stanton, seconded by Mr. Valori. Roll call.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Mr. Stanton?
Yes.
Mr. Valori?
Yes.
Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
R 2015-008, designating an employee to serve as public agency compliance officer.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Valori, seconded by Mr. Stanton. Roll call.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Mr. Stanton?
Yes.
Mr. Valori?
Yes.
Mr. Karifi?
Yes. Mr. DePiero?
Oh, I didn't have the next one. I'm doing 8,
The last one, Mike.
009.
9.
Yeah.
R 2015-009, authorizing the township tax collector to charge a penalty on delinquent taxes, assessments, or other municipal liens or charges.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. DePiero, seconded by Mr. Stanton. Roll call.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Mr. Stanton?
Yes.
Mr. Valori?
Yes.
Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Resolution 2015-010, authorizing the township tax collector to charge interest on delinquent taxes, assessments, or other municipal liens or charges. Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Paluso, seconded by Mr. Stanton. Roll call.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Mr. Stanton?
Yes.
Mr. Valori?
Yes.
Mr. Karifi?
Yes. Before we move on, I'd just like to recognize Assemblywoman Betty Lou DeCrose. Thank you for coming.
R 2015-011, resolution of Township Council, Township Parsippany-Troy Hills, authorizing the Township Parsippany-Troy Hills schedule, Township Council meetings for 2015.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Stanton, seconded by Mr. Valori. Roll call.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Mr. Stanton?
Yes.
Mr. Valori?
Yes.
Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
R 2015-012, resolution of the Township Council of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills awarding a contract to Nishavakia for professional services as Township Auditor.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Valori, seconded by Mr. Stanton. Roll call.
Mr. DePiero,
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Mr. Stanton?
Yes.
Mr. Valori?
Yes.
Mr. Karifi?
Yes. Mr. DePiero. number
Resolution 2015-13, resolution of the Township Council of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills confirming to the appointment of Gerald P. Scala as municipal court judge.
Second that motion.
Motion made by Mr. DePiero, seconded by Mr. Valori. Roll call.
Mr. DePiero,
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
No.
Mr. Stanton?
Yes.
He's from the,
Mr. Valori?
No.
he gets,
Mr. Karifi?
No. Number 14, Mr. Paluso.
Resolution 2015-014, resolution of the Township Council of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills confirming the appointment of Township Public Defender and awarding contract for professional services to John Cesaro Esquire for the year 2015. Motion to approve the above resolution.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Paluso, seconded by Mr. Valori. Roll call.
Mr. DePiero,
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Mr. Stanton?
Abstain.
Mr. Valori?
Yes.
Mr. Karifi?
Abstain. Mr. Stanton.
2015-015, resolution Township Council, Township Parsippany-Troy Hills, confirming the appointment, Township Public Defender, awarding contract for the professional services to Matthew W. Young Esquire of the firm Newsy Mason LLC for the year 2015.
Second that motion.
Motion made by Mr. Stanton, seconded by Mr. Valori. Roll call.
Mr. DePiero,
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Mr. Stanton?
Yes.
Mr. Valori?
Yes.
Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
R 2015-016, resolution of the Township Council of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills confirming the appointment and authorizing the award of a contract for professional services with Todd M. Galanti as special legal counsel.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Valori, seconded by Mr. Stanton. Roll call.
Mr. DePiero,
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
No.
Mr. Stanton?
Yes.
Mr. Valori?
No.
Mr. Karifi?
No. Mr. DePiero.
R 2015-017, resolution of the Township Council of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills confirming the appointment and authorizing the award of a contract for professional services with Stephen E. Trimboli Esquire of the firm Trimboli and Pruzanowski LLC as special legal counsel.
Second the motion.
Motion made by Mr. DePiero, seconded by Mr. Valori. Roll call.
Mr. DePiero,
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
No.
Mr. Stanton?
Yes.
Mr. Valori?
No.
Mr. Karifi?
No. Mr. Paluso.
Resolution 2015-018, resolution of the Township Council of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills authorizing the award of a contract for professional services. Michael B. Lavery Esquire of the firm of Corder and Robert and Cohen P.C. as conflict counsel. Motion to approve the above resolution.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Paluso, seconded by Mr. Stanton. Roll call.
Mr. DePiero,
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
No.
Mr. Stanton?
Yes.
Mr. Valori?
No.
Mr. Karifi?
No. Mr. Paluso.
Resolution 2015-019, resolution of the Township Council of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills confirming the appointment and awarding a contract for professional engineering services to Slabby Engineering Associates, Inc.
Second
Motion
motion.
to approve.
Motion made by Mr. Paluso, seconded by Mr. Valori. Roll call.
Mr. DePiero,
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Mr. Stanton?
Yes.
Mr. Valori?
Yes.
Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Or 2015-020, resolution Township Council, Township Parsippany-Troy Hills, confirming the appointment and awarding the contract for professional engineering service to Keller and Kirkpatrick, Inc.
Second motion.
Motion made by Mr. Stanton, seconded by Mr. Valori. Roll call.
Mr. DePiero,
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Mr. Stanton?
Yes.
Mr. Valori?
Yes.
Mr. Karifi?
Yes. Mr. Valori, 21.
R 2015-021, resolution of the Township Council of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills confirming the appointment and awarding a contract for professional engineering services to Van Cleef Engineering Associates, LLC.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Valori, seconded by Mr. Stanton. Roll call.
Mr. DePiero,
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Mr. Stanton?
Yes.
Mr. Valori?
Yes.
Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Resolution 2015-022, resolution of the Township Council of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills confirming the appointment and awarding a contract for professional engineering services to Adams, Riemann, and Hagan, Inc.
Second motion.
Motion made by Mr. DePiero, seconded by Mr. Valori. Roll call.
Mr. DePiero,
Yes.
Mr. Paluso,
Yes.
Mr. Stanton?
Yes.
Mr. Valori?
Yes.
Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Resolution 2015-023, resolution of the Township Council of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills confirming the appointment and awarding a contract for professional engineering services to Hatch Matt McDonald. Motion to approve the above resolution.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Paluso, seconded by Mr. Stanton. Roll call.
Mr. DePiero,
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Mr. Stanton?
Yes.
Mr. Valori?
Yes.
Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
R 2015-024, resolution Township Council of the Township Parsippany-Troy Hills confirming the appointment, awarding the contract for professional engineering services to Omland Engineering Services Incorporated.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Stanton, seconded by Mr. Valori. Roll call.
Mr. DePiero,
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Mr. Stanton?
Yes.
Mr. Valori?
Yes.
Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
R 2015-025, resolution of the Township Council of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills confirming the appointment and awarding a contract for professional engineering services to Engineering and Environmental Services, Inc.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Valori, seconded by Mr. Stanton. Roll call.
Mr. DePiero,
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Mr. Stanton?
Yes.
Mr. Valori?
Yes.
Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Resolution 2015-026, resolution of the Township Council of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills confirming the appointment and awarding a contract for professional engineering services to Alemo Engineering Group.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. DePiero, seconded by Mr. Valori. Roll call.
Mr. DePiero,
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Mr. Stanton?
Yes.
Mr. Valori?
Yes.
Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Resolution 2015-027, resolution of the Township Council of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills authorizing an agreement with Chems LLC for chemical engineering services related to Title V air pollution regulations for the Parsippany wastewater treatment facility. Motion to approve the above resolution.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Paluso, seconded by Mr. Valori. Roll call.
Mr. DePiero,
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Mr. Stanton?
Yes.
Mr. Valori?
Yes.
Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
R 2015-028, resolution of the Township Council, Township Parsippany-Troy Hills, confirming the appointment, awarding a contract for professional engineering services to HTM Associates Incorporated.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Stanton, seconded by Mr. Valori. Roll call.
Mr. DePiero,
Abstain.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Mr. Stanton?
Yes.
Mr. Valori?
Yes.
Mr. Karifi?
Yes. Mr. Valori.
R 2015-029, resolution of the Township Council of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills authorizing an agreement with Alpha Dog Solutions for maintenance of the township's website.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Valori, seconded by Mr. Stanton. Roll call.
Mr. DePiero,
Yes.
excuse me, Mr. DePiero. Mr. Paluso?
No.
Mr. Stanton?
Yes.
Mr. Valori?
No.
Mr. Karifi?
No. Mr. DePiero.
Resolution 2015-030, resolution of the Township Council of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills authorizing a professional service agreement with John P. Inglesino of the firm Inglesino, Wichiscala, and Taylor LLC as Township Attorney for the year 2015.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. DePiero, seconded by Mr. Valori. Roll call.
Mr. DePiero,
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
No.
Mr. Stanton?
Abstain.
Mr. Valori?
No.
Mr. Karifi?
No. Okay, at this time, entertain a motion to open up the public hearing.
Make a motion.
Motion
Second.
made by Mr. Stanton, seconded by Mr. Paluso. If you come up to the mic, please state your name and address, sign in. You'll be given 5 minutes.
Oh, Mr. Karifi needed a roll call on this.
Oh, I can do a roll call.
Oh, just
Gotta do a roll.
Oh, excuse me, roll call
Mr. DePiero?
What's the roll call for?
to open up the public hearing.
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Mr. Stanton?
Yes.
Mr. Valori?
Yes.
Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
No.
Can you turn the mic on?
Yeah. You might have to tap.
Just have to turn it
It's
on.
very sensitive.
Give it a second.
No, you take it off and then like, yeah.
There's a switch on the front there.
No, it's on.
There you go.
Hello.
There it goes.
There he goes.
All right, I'm Neil Shaw, 16 Arlington Avenue, Morris Plains, New Jersey. So a two-part question. What qualifications do you guys look for in a zoning board member? And to really why wasn't reappointed?
Anybody else? I myself look for people that have, depending on the committee, and most of the committees, is people that have lived in town for a long period of time, people that are active within our town, and look for certain traits that they have, and, work ethic. I do appreciate everything that you've done for the committee in the last couple of years that you've served on there.
So I've been there for 3 years. Probably attended more meetings than any member, and I've probably lived in town for 25 plus years. So I think I met most of those qualities, actually. And just for the Lori, I even called you a couple months ago.
Oh, nice.
And you said I had your support, and obviously it was a split decision, so what was that about?
Okay, before, before any emotions get involved in this, I know you a long time. I spoke to you. I said that there's gonna be other people that obviously have an interest in it. And based on who would have an interest, I said I have no problem with, supporting you, but you still have to get the support from the rest of the council members. Hold on, because it's still obviously, four of the choices to who they want to pick. And that came down to it. There's other individuals, and you just got to remember, it's a committee position that is appointed, okay? It's not a position that's like civil service, that you're in the job for 20 years, 25 years.
Understood,
But I'm giving you my answer. And the reality was, other folks who had an interest in it were obviously the ones that were selected tonight. So it's nothing that's personal against you or your time and commitment to obviously the zoning board. And just for example, hold on, let me finish what I'm gonna say. I was on the Municipal Alliance Committee, okay, with my colleague here. And we're on it for several years through different mayors. And for some reason, miraculously, we were taken off the committee until we got elected. So, in regards to, was there any personal decision in regards to your name saying you were not going to be reappointed? No, there was other individuals that put their resumes in, and it's a town of 50,000 people, and if there's folks that have an interest in it, and like anything else, they might be involved for a year or so and might not have the time. So is your resume there, and as a committee person in the past? Yeah, so, again, it's an appointment, and it has to go in front of all 5 members here. So that's how
So I'm
it
guessing,
turned out.
I guess my question is, what do you guys look for? And Councilman Creek really didn't state any specifics that, except being someone that lives in town and has qualities to be on the board.
Emil,
I
for your edification, I voted against your replacement. I thought you were doing a good job. Not because I don't think the person that's replacing you would do a good, I'm not voting against that person for that reason, not against them personally. I objected to them removing you from the Board of Adjustment.
I appreciate that, thank you.
And the same on my part. I just voted no because I thought the committee worked well as a whole. Had nothing to do with individuals. I thought the whole group worked together well.
And I completely agree.
So-
And
That's
getting
why
back
I'm
to
one-
answer your question again, I didn't say that you did a bad job. The person that I voted for, I just think has more experience
What experience do you need is, I guess, the
and
initial
involvement in the town. The person is very involved in a lot of things that are going on in town here. So that's my belief is that I think that they're more qualified for that position. That's my personal opinion. That was it. I'm not saying don't apply again, for next year, at all. So.
Thank you, guys.
And thank you for coming up and asking.
Should I sign in first?
Either way.
Yeah.
I think the mic's off.
My name is Rito.
I think the mic is off.
Yeah, you have to do the same thing with the mic. Okay.
Just turn it on.
Okay. No, I think I shut it off.
Just give it a second. You have to give it a second.
There you go.
Okay. My name is Jean Torito. I live at 173 Spring Hill Drive in the Glenmont Commons development. You may remember I was here in October to request a meeting with the mayor to go over the situation with our broken water mains. Just to give you a quick timeline, my water main broke in September of 2013. A piece of my pipe was taken by the town to be sent away for testing. The town actually paid for a portion of my repair in order to get a portion of my pipe to send away for testing. And in the past 16 months, we've heard nothing of the report that the pipe was sent away to be tested for. In October, we came to a town council meeting to request a meeting with the mayor. About 4 weeks later, we did meet with him on November 17th, and he and Ellen Sandman said that they had the report in their hands, that it was going to be reviewed by them and the town attorney, and by December 1st, they would get back to us with the results of the report. On December 30th, I called Ellen Sandman's office to ask for the status, since we haven't heard from anyone. Her secretary told me that she was not available to speak to me, so I left my phone number for her to call me back, and now it's a week later and I still haven't heard anything. So, with that being said, obviously I'm very disappointed in the way that the community was developed initially because of the inspections or lack of inspections that were made on the properties, because there's clearly been a violation of the backfill requirements, because I had boulders under and on top of my water main pipes, as well as my neighbors have had the same situation. That being said, I'm very disappointed in the lack of response that I've gotten from the township right now to find out what's going on with the report and where the town stands as far as helping out the residents of Glenmont Commons with this situation. So that's what, since we're not getting any private responses, I'm asking publicly what is happening.
Thank you for coming here tonight, Jeannie. As a matter of fact, and Council President, I was going to announce this at the agenda portion of our meeting, but since it has been brought up now, I'm going to make a public announcement that at next Council's meeting, we will be having our engineer who did the evaluation present the results of the report. A summary of the report. That is January 13th, one
Next
week
Tuesday.
from today. Okay?
Thank you.
Can I interject one thing here, quickly? Yes, the only thing, we did not hear from your representative from the, obviously, the Townhouse Association. Okay, because I wanted to go on a tour with my colleagues with the council, because we were told at that one meeting she was going to reach out to us and go see the different homes that were affected. And again, I live up there in Glenmont also in the houses, and I was never notified. So again, if you want to reach out to me, we could coordinate and we could go see whatever damage occurred, or, you know, obviously the houses that were involved. If you could do that, okay. If you could do that, then I'll just do a visual on my own. I'll drive down to, obviously, the different townhouses. Was there any issue with the water pressure also with that, or no?
We're getting a lot of different stories.
I'm assuming the engineering report
Okay.
will probably.
It'll be in the
Okay.
report.
Okay.
Backfill, it's a combination of a bunch of different things. That's why we're curious to see the report, because personally, I don't think that that's the issue. I
Ma'am,
think
can you
the
go on the
issue is
mic, please?
We're getting a lot of different ideas as to what the problem might
Okay.
actually be, and it may be a combination of things, and that's why we're interested in seeing the report. Personally, I've been in building for over 30 years, and I think that the backfill has a tremendous amount to do with the problem. You can't have boulders, you can't have rocks on top of pipes. We've had boulders, we have pictures of boulders that were on top of the pipes. And so I think that that's a very big issue, and I think that you people weren't involved, but there's township culpability there. There were inspections that were either made or not made, and somebody had their eyes closed, because you can see those rocks. So as far as the, coming through the development, I'd be happy to meet with you. The association president has told us that she's not able to represent us as a group. And so it's not an association issue legally that they can handle. So that's why we're coming individually to speak.
Yeah, if you could leave that, list or get it to us, I would definitely love to see what units are
You wanna
involved.
give
And
me
I
the
haven't
phone
read the
number?
report yet either.
Thank you.
Thank you. And you could give it right to the clerk there.
Oh, okay. And did you want to give me your number?
Yeah, I'll give you. Thank
Okay,
you.
and I'll write my number.
Okay, great, thank you.
Good evening. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I'm here as well
Sir, just
from
state your
179.
name and address.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Jeff Dorfman, 179 Spring Hill Drive, Glenmont Commons. I live right next door to Jeannie. I support and confirm everything that she stated. I recently went through a second. This one was a water main break. Last year was a waste pipe collapse. Now, it's a pretty straightforward issue that we're seeing in the community. What we want to do, this isn't the forum to have the type of discussion that we want to have. Mayor, I think when we met with you and Ellen, we said that. But we need quality time to present real facts that as adults, as people who, in this case, I'm representing probably about 80 townhome community members. We just want to present facts. Total, we spent between $340,000 and $480,000 repairing busted water mains, busted waste pipes. And what we're seeing is they're actually collapsing in the ground. Boulders are sitting on top of them. There's no compacted fill, there's no compacted sand, no compacted QP underneath the pipes. And you need something solid to lay pipes. So that's the majority of the issue that we're seeing. In terms of, people have been using trenchless repairs. I've been using, I hired someone to dig a whole trench to lay a brand new line. It cost me $6,000 2 weeks ago. I mean, this is expensive repair. When we dig up the land, seeing no backfill underneath the pipes, seeing backfill and boulders, these are clearly not the way to deal with trenches. There's real guidelines that need to be followed. These guidelines weren't followed. And I don't think the guidelines are from, 2010, 2011. We're going back to 2002. I don't think they changed much. I think those guidelines have been pretty standard. So we want to talk about that issue. We want to present the financials associated with it because, honestly, Mayor, it didn't happen during your term. This is nothing personal. It happened 11 years ago. But there's real expense that's going on in our community. I went through two. It cost me $10,000 in total. And there's real accountability and responsibility that we think exists there. If we could just present facts and just talk about them, have Q&A, have real professionals who've been working in the development repairing our problems, I think we'd be able to come to some agreement pretty quickly. That's all we want to do. We don't want this to lag another month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months. The report that was done, can we get a copy of the report? Can we just get a copy of it without going through Oprah or any other formal?
Once the report becomes public, Jeff, you can certainly get that copy through our clerk's office.
Can we get an idea what the objective of the report, of the study, of the project was? Can we get some idea?
I think, if I may, I think has been previously indicated that the township, at its expense, in an effort to assist you in any way appropriate, has engaged an independent engineering firm to prepare a report. The report will be made available to the public next week at the meeting. Next week.
A copy for review, and then they could certainly
Next week
get
at the
a
council
copy
meeting,
through the
the
clerk's
report
office
will
for
be
purchase.
made available for public review. It will not be made available for public review before then, and there will not be any copies of the report issued.
I can appreciate that. I just don't want that to hold up what's going on in the community, that there's real issues. We want to sit down and talk about those issues. The study that was done, believe me, it doesn't address the issues that we want to bring to the table. So all we want to do is talk about the facts, the issues that have been going on.
Well, I just want to say one thing, though, Jeff, and I appreciate you're not blaming me, but I am the only administration that has taken it on. Prior administrations haven't, so.
I don't know that anybody
Oh, yeah, they.
has seen these problems over the last few years.
Yeah. Oh.
Just, I don't mean to
No,
interrupt,
but-
but over the last 2 years is when we've seen the
Right.
majority of the issue really popping up. And the fact that I went through it twice blows me away.
Mr. Dorfman, if I may, you indicated that you represent approximately 80 homeowners. In what capacity do you represent them?
There's probably 7 of us that are part of this little committee that we put together to talk about the issues at hand.
Is this through the is this through the association?
This is through neighbors. Just neighbors. This isn't through the association.
All right. Are you representing them in a professional capacity or
I'm
just?
representing myself right now. I'm just telling you there are about 80 units that when water main breaks or waste pipe collapses or both.
Okay, so you don't. I'm just trying to understand.
I'm just trying to give you the magnitude of the issue.
No, but you had indicated that you represent approximately 80. So I'm trying to understand the structure. Is there?
I've talked to about 30 people. Of those 30 people, there's probably a total of 80 units. All their
Okay,
friends
so
and
you
neighbors.
meant to say there's about 80 units that are affected by this, and you wanted to bring that to our attention. I got it. Gotcha. Thank you. I just wanted to
Thank you.
clarify that.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you all.
Millen Shah, 16 Arlington Avenue. These questions are directed towards Mr. Karifi, Mr. Paluzzo, and Mr. Valori. So I sat in the back today while you went through the committee appointments for residents that serve as volunteers in Parsippany. And if my math might be off, but you reappointed 75% of those volunteers that have previously served, and singled out a few members, one including my brother, who has served as the alternate member of the zoning board for the past 3 years and has attended the majority of meetings for the zoning board, more meetings than probably other members of the zoning board, but did not vote to reappoint him. And your reasoning doesn't make any sense. I want the question and your answer to be on the record whether or not you decided against reappointing my brother because I ran for council against your ticket. Yes or no?
I'll state absolutely not.
Okay. Mr.
That's
Paluzzo?
my answer.
No, absolutely not. I attended a zoning meeting. I look at a lot of things, the different perspective of the town. It's always nice to give people an opportunity to volunteer within the community. I was on the Municipal Alliance Committee meeting probably for about 12 years. I was removed from that without reason. Reason, I didn't even ask for a reason, but I understood that there's people that would like a new opportunity to serve the community. So it's nice to see people that are stepping forward, and we had people that did step forward that asked to join these different committees. So
And
you
these
rotate
supporters
people up.
didn't support your campaign?
I have no idea. I do not look at it from that perspective. What I
Okay.
do look at it is from the judgment perspective. I look at how they voted throughout the year, if I agree with some of the decisions or not. I look at basically, what's fair and equitable to the entire community, not just one individual.
Mr. Valori?
I'm not going to get engaged in a political tirade right now.
It's not political. It's not
spoke to
personal.
matter of fact, I'm the only individual that spoke to your brother, and I reminded your brother to send in his resume. I spoke to your brother in great detail. I told him exactly, what I want them to do to send in his resume. I told him that there's going to be other individuals, and if you don't recall, Mr. Ira Kane was reappointed, okay? On the zoning board last time, Board of Adjustment, Mr. Jonathan Nelson was reappointed there. It's like anything else. What was that?
He was appointed.
He was appointed. But my point of the matter is, this is not political. If there's other individuals in the town that would like to apply for the position, which they did, their resumes went in front of all the council members, that's the way that it is.
With all due respect, Mr. Valori, you blatantly told my brother that if you had the support from other council members, you would reappoint him. And based on the testimony of Mr. Stan and Mr. DiPiero, they were ready to reappoint my
Mr.
brother.
Shaw,
So you
I'm not gonna
blatantly,
get
you
engaged
blatantly lied to a
in what
Parsippany
you
resident.
think what your brother told you. If your brother believes what he said that you're saying right now, he could be up here discussing that. This is not the platform to discuss a political controversy over an appointment. Okay? Yeah, okay. I'm not telling him to stop talking. The reality is, okay, the reality is if your brother wants to go into greater detail about that, he could do that. He could do that offline with me. This is not the, right now, the forum to be discussing why an appointment was appointed or not appointed.
Okay, just wanted your answers on the record. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you. Good night.
Roy Messmer, 10 Drumlin Drive. Just one of these resolutions. I touch on this almost every year. I think I've been to most of these reorg meetings. It's resolution 2015-007. As Mr. DePiero knows and the mayor knows, I have a big problem with this. I don't know the number in town. I would have to contact the 5 branches of the service, but I do know of one gentleman who was in the Navy Reserve, was called to active duty. He's not an employee of the town, and it was a real hardship on his family. Twice he was called. This council, this administration, you put this on the books all the time. We have to also, if you're going to do it on one side of the table, because it's a double whammy, because if an employee of the town gets called for reserve, you also got to replace that person in his job, especially if it's in the police department. We are not taking care of the other side of the ledger here, ladies and gentlemen. The men and women that are called up, the reservists, who are normal citizens working for plumbers, electricians, their own business, et cetera, banking. I know a gentleman who's in the reserve in the banking. He was called to active duty. Yes, the bank takes care of them. They've got deep pockets. But something's got to be done in this town. And my question to the administration is, how many current employees do we have that are in the reserves? I'm not asking for names.
I have to give you that number. I can't go off my head.
Okay, but you don't know if it's 4, 5?
Right.
Okay.
I can find out.
How many have been called to active duty? We're paying the difference in salary. 1, 2, none right now? I mean, the war hopefully is winding down, but, I've been talking about this, Mr. DiPiero. You've patted yourself on the back on this ordinance.
All due respect, yeah, I initiated
Right.
this ordinance years ago.
Yep.
It's a resolution that's renewed every year. I was called active duty during the Vietnam conflict. I'm a veteran from foreign wars. And
Well-
my savings was depleted when I was activated.
and-
I couldn't,
I
money I
can't
was
put it any
saving for a house
simpler.
was gone.
Mike, I don't
However,
mean to interrupt you, because I only
Wait,
get 5
wait.
minutes. On one side of the ledger, we got to take care of the men and women on the other side of the ledger.
no, that's not the township responsibility. We're accountable to our township employees. We're not accountable to every single employee in the town.
Well, that's why politics is so self-serving, Mr. DiPiero. So self-serving, the problem in the state. Why aren't you taking care of the men and women on the other side that are getting shot at, maybe not even coming back? Why not? This is a reservist. He should have been here tonight, but he had to go
All
out
due
of business.
respect, I disagree with you.
Yeah.
It's not our job to be everybody's
Well, it's not
keeper,
your job to do this either. Why are we taking care of the men and women that are employees of the town?
because they're employees of the town, exactly.
Oof. That's hypocritical, Mr. DiPiero.
That's a fact of
You
life.
and I have a problem with
That's
this
a
from
fact
day
of
one.
life.
It's self-serving, sir.
I don't know how it's so.
Nick Komiak, Lake Hiawatha. I noticed tonight that there was no appointments for the Open Space Committee or the Environmental Committee. And I have to wonder even if there's a real need for such a thing anymore as an environmental
We did have
committee.
appointments for the Environmental Committee.
You did? I didn't hear
Yeah,
it.
we did have, yes.
We did.
Really?
Whatever appointments that were up, there was only one position, I believe, that was up. And the Open Space
I don't think
Committee
that
is
any-
not the council's.
Nothing's expired. On the open
was
space.
nothing- there was
I
nothing-
swear
there were
I
no
didn't
open
hear.
positions.
I swear I didn't hear it. But what the open space is?
The seats aren't up yet.
No
Yeah,
positions
know
were
There's a
up.
term
Their
on it.
terms were not up.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. There's a lot.
The only seat that was up is a mayoral appointment, not a council appointment.
All right. I'm sorry because I thought I was listening to everything, but I guess I didn't hear it. There's a lot of things going on. They say they're going to give police cameras. I don't know if that's happening in Parsippany. This way, they have more proof other than the proof that they need already. They'll have cameras supposed to make police behave better. What I'm wondering is, can they get cameras to put to help identify illegal dumping in the town? If they can get cameras for something like that, for a quality of life issue. I mean, it's all over the United States. You have illegal dumping, and we have a lot of it here. If we could have cameras strategically positioned in certain places that are known, you know, instead of, if they want to utilize cameras to bring from the military to the civilian force, it shouldn't be just to protect the police and whatever victim, the two parties that are involved in an altercation with the police and a civilian. It should be for the whole spectrum of civilian laws and ordinances. So I don't know if there's any way that any of that can be maneuvered, or the same camera that could be used on a police officer could also be utilized in a setup somewhere in the town where they're dumping illegally. Is the committee of the Knoll Golf Course, is that still, or there's nothing going on with that either?
There's a Knoll Advisory Committee.
And there's no,
Active.
are they involved with the environmental aspect in any way? Like, I don't know if they use chemical fertilizers, or they're in that river-sensitive area there. So is there,
That's taken into account in, well, the advisory committee itself doesn't do that, but the staff, the professional staff, the greenskeeper, they're aware of those issues and make sure that we don't violate anything.
but they do use chemical fertilizers up there, right?
They use fertilizers, I'm not sure what type.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like a
I'm not
pretty.
the expert in that field.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like a pretty old kind of golf course. It doesn't look too manicured. It's, you know, kind of a nice landscape. When there's no golfers there, you can take a walk. But I was just, I was just wondering how they actually treat the property with the chemicals and everything, and they are in that river-sensitive area.
They have the Rutgers, what do you call them, horticultural or agricultural?
Horticultural.
Horticultural organization that comes down and visits several times a year.
Yeah.
Talks with the greenskeeper, talks with the staff, and we follow their recommendations.
Yeah. They do have Japanese knotweed. They could probably eradicate it on an old golf course if they put some kind of effort into it. I mean, it's all over the place, but in small areas, it is possible to eradicate it. But when do they have their meeting? Or you could just talk to Glenn.
They meet once a month. It's called by the Knoll superintendent and the Knoll committee. In fact, the chairman is right here in the audience right now, Al Paradise.
Yeah.
He's chairman of the committee. And we meet once a month, and it's usually the third or fourth Thursday of the month.
Uh-huh. All right. All right, that's all I have to say, and I would, just to put my 2 cents in about what Roy said, when you see all the defense spending that goes on in the United States for wars that we're involved in now that are actually even illegal actions, the servicemen are dragged into this. It doesn't have anything to do with them, their courage that they display or anything like that. But it's a shame that with all the defense spending, it's over $3 trillion since these wars have begun, and yet when they do call someone, they it's on you, or it's on the taxpayer, and it should be out of the defense spending, like Superfund sites and all them, all the most polluted areas in the nation are all from defense spending, so I would have to,
You're right, we can't be
yeah.
all things to all people. We can't, our budget does not allow that.
yeah.
So what we could do is support our own township employees, but we can't do it to everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, how much do we raise the taxes to do this? I mean, it's not, maybe it's not fair, but it's a fact of life. We can't do everything for everybody.
Exactly. I have to agree with you on that, Michael.
That's a first. Second.
Nick, your time is up, but I just wanted to get back to you. What you had said about the cameras, if the cameras that they want to have police officers wear could be used for that as well. The cameras that they're looking into for police officers are very small cameras that would be attached to the officer's uniform. So those types of cameras would not be able to be used for what you're talking about. There are some major cities out there that do have cameras that are mounted on street corners that are used to deter crime and that are eventually used to solve crimes. But that would be something different, and that would be something that maybe, if anything, we would try to get some grant money for, or something like that. I don't know, but
I was told there's cameras in Volunteer Park.
No cameras. I don't think there's any cameras there.
But just to answer that question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just as an aside, if the police department wanted those cameras, it should come up at the next budget
Yeah,
meeting, when we have the budget hearings.
Pat Petaccio, 182 Hawkins Avenue. Just like to wish everybody a Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Secondly, I forgot what I was going to say. After the Happy New Year, I kind of blew it. No, I'd like to thank you also for putting me back on the Transparency Committee. I have been interested in transparency for many years, and last year we didn't get together because there was a lot of problems with meeting with the mayor and stuff like that, so I'm appreciative of that. And I don't want to start anything tonight, but I really got my back up in comments that were made earlier from Mr. Shaw, both Mr. Shaws. I've been sitting here for many years watching all of this stuff go on with reorganizations and everything else. And I know they're done at whim. You can replace anybody you want for any reason you want. Hopefully it's for the better reason, that they're more qualified. However, I didn't like the accusations that were made that because they didn't support you or whatever. That to me should not have been said. Because when we questioned, when he was put on the council, the planning board, we were told it was their decision and that was it. So I just don't like accusations coming out like that. That's not right. As I said, your name has been triggered with a couple of other things in town. So let's just start the new year fresh and go with it, okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, see no one else come forward, entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Make a motion.
Motion made by Mr. Stanton, seconded by Mr. Paluso. Roll call.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Mr. Paluso?
Yes.
Mr. Stanton?
Yes.
Mr. Valori?
Yes.
Mr. Karifi?
Yes, at this time, entertain it.
Council President, before
ahead.
we move on, could I make a,
Yes.
with all of these boards and committees that serve the township in various capacities, we have never set up a standard format where we have an appreciation certificate thanking the people for serving the township and serving the board that they served with the years that they served. I mean, we've done it on individual basis. On occasion, I'd make a recommendation and we would do it. But it should be something that's automatic, you know? We have board members that have gone out and and we have no formal way of thanking them, and that should be changed.
Mike, you're bringing up a great point, because there's other folks that are on many other committees throughout the years, and you're right, they should get recognized. So should we put a
I would-
policy together?
Well, I'm open for recommendations from our administration and from Yancey on how we could do this on an ongoing